Welcome to the GrayJay Evaluations Overview video. The screen that you can see right now is what an evaluation administrator would see when they log into the admin portal. You can see various sections that can be managed by evaluation administrators, including evaluation templates, evaluation groups, scheduling evaluation sessions, and reports. So we'll just start at the top left here, manage evaluation templates. Essentially what this is it allows each organization to build their own evaluation templates. So you can see we've built one here. Essentially you just name it. The sport is going to be specific to the sport for your organization, and it'll be tagged to your organization. So basically you just name the category and you select the type of input. I think typically there's going to be the range slider type of input. When I select that, we can set the minimum range, the range minimum and maximum. And so here it's set to 1 to 5. If I change that to 1 to 10, the preview will update to show what it's going to look like. The other options are single choice answers, where you provide them a list of choices and they pick one. Short answer, long answer, these are written or typed text answers. A number input if the evaluator is inputting a number, and then multiple choice. So again, you give them multiple options and they can select one or more with that option. Most of this demo will be using the range sliders. I feel like that's probably the most typical. Each category can be given a weighting. So if we want to say, for hockey, for example, let's say forward skating is the most important thing, and backward skating is a little less important, we can put that at 90%. Basically, this just means that the scores input by the evaluators will be multiplied by this weighting. So we'll just set that back. If you want to add questions, just hit the add question button. And again, give it a name, select the category type and the weight. We'll just remove that for now. So once you've built your template or templates, we can come back to the main evaluations page. And then we're going to look at evaluation groups. Basically what this is it's an extension of the master roster view that most of the organizations that are using GrayJay Pay for registration have already been using. When we come from the evaluation page, we're filtering to evaluation groups as opposed to teams. So the traditional view here would be the list of players that have registered, and then all of the teams in the organization. Over here, we drag and drop players from this list onto the teams. What we have now are evaluation groups. And so you can filter down to, say, U15, and I've got one evaluation group for U15. We can easily add another one. We're going to pick U15. You can select any skill level here. U15 group 2, let's call it, and it's an evaluation group. The other option there is just a group, which is not related to evaluations, but might be something that organizations find useful. So maybe it's like a weekly goalie skills group that's going to run all season. So we might want to put the players in that group and schedule events for that group. But we'll stick with the evaluation groups for now. And so at this point, we can just start dragging players into the groups. So let's say we've got 5 players in that evaluation group. At this point, we can create an evaluation session for our new group. You see the blue create event calendar icon. Click that. It'll tell us that there's no future sessions for this group, so we can go ahead and create one. And so this is very similar to building, creating a practice for a team. And so we'll call it U15 tryouts. We select our venue. Set the time, say 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We select the evaluation template that we're going to use. Select the date. And then there's a session weighting as well. So we can set a weighting. It's a percentage field, so 1 to 100. If we want to make the scores for this session more or less valuable, than any scores entered for the players for this particular session will be multiplied by this session weight. And then the other part that we need to make sure that we do is we need to assign evaluators. And so over here, we're going to see any users with evaluation permissions for your organization. And we're going to select the folks that are doing the evaluations, and we can optionally select a check-in coordinator. What we mean by check-in is the players need to be assigned a jersey number and a jersey color and marked present or not. The jersey numbers and colors can be done in advance, or they can be done at the time of the session if there was someone, greeting the players and passing out jerseys shortly before the session. So that can be done either way, but we need to make sure that we assign the right evaluators and check-in coordinators as we build the session. So we'll create the session. It brings us back to the main page. We can also create evaluation sessions here. At this point, we would just select one of our existing groups, and then we would see the same screen that we saw a few minutes ago. So once we've got our sessions, this is a future session here, and you can see that the evaluate button is disabled at this point because the check-in is not yet complete. So we would go to check-in. Again, jersey numbers and colors can be set in advance if you'd like. The evaluation administrator can look after that, or it can be done by a check-in coordinator. So the default sort order here is going to be by jersey number. We can type a player name if we want to just find that player quickly as they show up. We will set these default colors for jerseys. You can type a new one in if you'd like, and they will that new color would be in the option list here for color jersey colors. So as the players are arriving, or again, can be done in advance, we're just going to assign a jersey number, a jersey color, and we'll say that Brooke has arrived for the session, and then we'll do another one. Catherine is here for the session. And so at this point, we can mark the check-in as complete, which will allow the evaluation to be done by the evaluators. So at this point, evaluator users will be able to log in. They will not see everything that the administrator will see. They will only see the session or sessions that they've been assigned to as evaluators, and they won't have the ability to edit the session. They'll just be able to do the check-in or the evaluation, depending on the user type that they are and the role that they've been assigned for that session. So we'll show the evaluation view, and so we've got our players down the left side. And you'll notice here we can see the jersey number, the jersey color, the position of the player, and the name. The name is an optional thing, so if we go back, the administrator can edit the session and choose to hide the player names, save the session, and when we go back, now we just see the jersey number and jersey color. And so if I'm evaluating 5 blue here, we're seeing the categories, the skill categories from our template, and it's just as easy as marking the scores. We also have filters. So if I'm an evaluator, but I'm told that I'm only doing blue, I can mark off check off, remove the green and the red, and it'll show me down here which players that I'm actually responsible to evaluate. The ones in red, I'm not responsible for. We can also do this by position, and the options here are dynamic based on the players in the session. And so in this particular session, we only have forwards and defense. And so let's say I'm only doing forwards. And so at this point, because of the filters I've set, there's only one player that I'm evaluating. We can also do a jersey number range. And so maybe you're told to do 1 to 15. You can type in 1 to 15. You can set all of these filters at the same time or just one, whatever makes sense for your organization. So you can see I've completed 5 of the 8 skill category evaluations for the player wearing 10 red. I've already completed 5 blue, and you can see it's finalized and locked. And so when I complete all of the scores for 10 red, it also shows as complete, and I can, in the top right portion of the screen here, click finalize 10 red. It'll ask me if I'm sure. Evaluators cannot unlock an evaluation for a player once it's been finalized, but an evaluation admin can unlock them. And so once we finalize that, we've now got 2 of the 4 players completed. Right now you can only finalize each player that I'm selected one at a time. We will add a finalize all button, and there will also be an option on the session itself to lock and finalize all evaluations at a given time. So you can set that at the time of the evaluation. And so now let's have a look at the reports that are available. We'll start here, as I think it's probably the most common report that we'll look at. So we're seeing all players that have had an evaluation completed, their position, an aggregated score for that player for each session, and an overall average score for that player. You can click on any cell here to see the details. So if we want to see how did Frederick get a 64.17 for this specific session, we click in here, we get a pop-up showing the session, the player, all of the skill categories for that session, all of the scores from all of the evaluators that were entered for that session. And so basically, if we read left to right for backward skating, the player received a 4 out of 5, an 80%, a 3 out of 5, 60%, another 60%. The skill category itself has a weighting of 100%, and that results in a 66.67% average across the 3 evaluators for backward skating. Down here is the session score, and this is the average of all of the averages for each skill category. And then the weighted session score would be influenced by the session weighting. And so in this case, it's 100%. So the weighted session score is the same as the session score. This is the value that you see on this previous report right here. Other reports that are available include aggregated per player reports. And so if we pick a player here, this is by session. So we've got a spider chart here, which is a visual way of showing the player's average scores compared to the overall average. So we can see this particular player is above average on backward skating, slightly below average on shooting, for example. And then down here, session by session, we can see for backward skating in this particular session, this player had an average score of 3.5, but as low as 3 and as high as 4. If we change the aggregation to by category, now we're seeing the scores for backward skating across all evaluation sessions for this player, and the average score of 3.75, the lowest of 3 and the highest of 4. If we go back here, aggregate per skill, so if we filter to an age and a season, now we can see all of the skill categories and basically the rankings of all players. And so Catherine Harris had the highest average score of 4.5 for forward skating. Frederick Anderson had a 4. The average is illustrated here, the lowest and the highest, similar to the previous screen. One other thing I wanted to mention, evaluators, as they're entering their scores, you'll see this little button here. This allows the evaluator to type in comments specific to that player for that skill category. And then this button here is to clear. So if I had set a 3 and I wanted to clear it, we can just clear that. So that's a quick overview of GrayJay evaluations. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you've got additional questions or if you'd like to learn more. Thanks for your time.